Alright, so we're going to do a quick shakedown on the vehicle. So this is going to be a little bit different than usual. Main reason is I'm running out of time. Time being not working fast enough on it to have it done. We're going to do some body work today, but we'll do a quick shakedown on this car and you'll see what I've actually got to do. So I did the boot the other day and managed to weld in a couple of little sections and then completely warp it. So I've completely distorted that panel. So I've actually got to purchase another one now. I shouldn't have done it. I'm looking at maybe re-skinning it. So if we do that process, then hopefully we'll hit it there. Okay, so this is what I mean about working outside. If you don't have a shed or somewhere to put the vehicle, do not purchase a project car. It's just too much work, and having the elements out, got sunburnt yesterday, so now the sun is obviously out again and absolutely killing me. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Just wait until you have ample space or some room or some place to be able to put the vehicle itself, because this is a big section of the car that needs to be done that I just don't have the space to do. Okay. Alright, so let's start at the front and we'll work our way backwards. Alright, so the engine bay has been done. So I've sandblasted it with my sandblaster, just a little one, and paint stripped in areas that I needed to, and fixed up any rust that I needed to. Up in here was a section where I needed to, that was cosmetic. So it's been sprayed with epoxy primer, so the same stuff as this. It's also been sanded down again and then sprayed with a 2K black, so a 2K black primer. So I do have a few more sections to do. So the engine bay is done. Now I forgot to film that. I mean, I wasn't really into making the videos when I started doing this. The windscreen's going to have to come out. I've got a few little bits of rust to repair up around there. Walk our way backwards. Inside our front of our door, we've got a bit of rust down here that needs to be repaired, and that's pretty good. Other than that, we'll walk our way backwards. So most of the jam is all right. It's just that front little plate, a bit underneath, a little bit on the other side as well. What do we have here? These rear quarters, I don't know what they look like, obviously. Obviously I know this has been chopped through here before, and this panel has been replaced, but it's a bit of a funny one. There's a bit of rust up and around here. Most of the bodywork on the vehicle has had some kind of rust. Sorry, most of the bodywork on the vehicle looks like it's sat on there for some time in the elements, and it's actually absorbed moisture, because behind every piece of repair there's rust there. The back of the vehicle looks like this. I probably should have removed those number plates, but hey. So it took a hit in the back end. Someone ran into it, and I repaired the what's it called? Rear bar, the chrome rear bumper. So that's been sent off and repaired. So I've got to do that still. So that's still got to go on. The boot, obviously I've warped, and I do need to replace it now. A bit of a shame, because I spent quite a few hours on that and just absolute wasted time. If I pop the windscreens out, the front and rear windscreen, I will. The rear one's going to be easy to get out because it's just going to be a H seal, like the Hiluxes and stuff, where you just kind of peel it in, then you can push the whole window out. We'll remove this chrome section first. But the thing is, if I do that, I'm going to have to provide some kind of shelter, because it just can't sit here. This is not feasible. I'm looking into options, either putting a gazebo up, which was suggested by one of my viewers. Yeah, putting something up above it, because this is getting ridiculous. Apart from that, around the other side, we've got a little bit of rust down here. This is only surface rust. This is where it took the hit of the impact as well, and that was kind of dinted in. So I've pushed that out previously, also off camera. Move our way around. She's not too bad underneath here. We've obviously got another bit of rust again down here, and this is caused because of crap settling in the back here and then starting to rust. And that'll have to be repaired. But yeah, look, I am thinking about doing this roof in sections, so I'm thinking about just buzzing to the inside edge, and then just spraying the whole centerpiece, and that way it will be able to at least have sealed paint on it, and I can get rid of all this cracking. Obviously this is not good. This is kind of looks like a delam, which I'm getting an effect here. If you have a look in the front here, there's a bit more of it there. But look, I'll see what happens, and I mean, we really can't be a beggar out here in the open. But other than that, this side's got a little bit of rust down here as well, and that will have to be fixed. I think I'd love to be able to completely strip the interior. I just don't have anywhere to put it. There's a bit of rust effect down here, so this is probably the worst of it. This sill is probably the worst of it, and there's quite a decent hole here, and this is why I'm thinking about giving it to a body shop, is because where the repairs have been done before, you can see it's rusted in behind them, so that's why it's sat out. It's definitely sat out in the weather and absorbed some kind of absorbed moisture out of the air. It's just sat too long. Obviously you can tell that this sill has got a fair bit of rust in it as long, so I'm looking at replacing that whole, well, you can't tell, but I'm looking at replacing this whole sill on this driver's side, or the right hand side. That's pretty much it. There's a tiny bit of rust up here as well. When that gets cut out, we'll have a look in behind to see how bad it is. Okay. Yeah, look, so today what we're going to do is we're going to move on to, I can't work out in the sun, I'm a bit too sunburnt from yesterday, so I might grab one of the doors and look at making that one straight for you, so that so you can see some body filler. I actually enjoy doing panel work. That's something I enjoy more. I don't really enjoy stripping them and getting them ready for it. I prefer actually just making them straight again, like panel beating them and knocking out dents and working that way. Anyway, yeah, let's do it. Now, just before we start, we're going to go over a few things that you're going to need before you start doing your filler and stuff. Now, look, if you're not that good with the filler and you're learning, use a straight edge. Now, a straight edge is nice. This is just a ruler. If you pop that on your panel, you'll be able to see where the highs and lows are. This is some Scotch-Brite. Now, Scotch-Brite is like that green scarab pad, but it's just kind of a bit rough. We're going to need that. We're going to need some blocks, some sanding blocks, and various shapes and sizes are always nice. Some adhesive sandpaper. Some adhesive sandpaper is a nice one to have. You're going to need some body filler. Now, with your body filler, I grabbed two different types of filler. Sorry, two different types of hardener. Now, the main reason I get two different is one is for, they're just two different colours basically. So I'll start off with one, which is a blue one, and then I'll move on to a red one. And the main reason for that is as you start sanding through, like if you wipe your blue over the top, you block it off, and then you feel that you need like a little bit more, but you're not 100% sure. If you wipe red filler over the top, you'll see where your lows and highs are a lot easier. And when you're sanding, you'll be able to see that when it cuts through and breaks through the red or starts to change to the blue, you know when you've gone too far, like you don't want to keep sanding. So that's a nice trick you can always use. It's nice to have some kind of air blower, as in something to blow the panel off. Also blows your sandpaper out, keeps it nice and clean, keeps it cutting before it gets too clogged up. You're obviously going to need some filler blades. You need something to mix it up on. Now, you can generally just use cardboard, just a kind of cardboard or a piece of metal. I'm using a half a tile, or what else? You're going to need some rags. Now, the main reason you're going to need some rags is you're going to need some thinners also, which I don't have here, but it's nice to have, once you start wiping, once you've finished wiping the area, it's nice to just grab the rag with a bit of thinners and wipe off whatever excess filler is stuck on the actual blade itself. Now, if you keep your filler blade nice and clean, it'll last a long time. So that's pretty much it. What I'm using is, for guide coat, is just some cheap spray paint, some matte black spray paint. What we're going to do now is we're going to spray some guide coat on it, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And then we'll wait a few minutes, let it dry off, so it's not going to clog my paper. Get back nice and wide and just dust it on. It looks like kind of like a cloudy effect by the time you finish. So now you're going to have to bear in mind with me, this is the first time that I've ever put body filler over the top of paint. I've never done it before, but I've been recommended by a panel shop to do it this way on an old car, because what it does is it seals off the panel. Now, I don't know, but I guess, look, it's definitely worth a try. So already we can see areas where I've burnt through here. As we can come across, you can see that there quite obviously is a high spot around in a circle here, with a low spot in the center which hasn't been scratched at all. So you can see from the panel where the lows and highs are. We can see there's a high here just before the edge and a low around the edge here. Let's chase back the other end. The other end's the same deal, so we've got a low spot down around here. Alright, hey, you might have seen that I used two different types of filler on the door. That's what it's called. Look, the first type of filler was a filler from Super Cheap Auto. It was called a Septones filler. I wouldn't recommend using this one. I didn't have very good luck with it. I didn't like how it sanded. I didn't like how it worked when I mixed it. Anyway, that's just personal preference. Very hard to sand, just quite annoying, very hard to kind of shape. A lot of sanding it took. Obviously the camera ran out, but hey, like, I just wouldn't use it personally. Again, I would stick with the Rage stuff. Now that's just personal preference. You guys choose whichever one you want to use and run with that one. So what I've done is I've made the panel straight again, knocked out the dents I could, filled the ones to get it perfect. Looks like there's a lot of filler on there. There's really not, like, it's only where the, we've burnt through pretty much all of the filler that's on there. So I mean 90% of it's going to be waste anyway. Yeah, what else? On the spots where you've burnt through on your panel, you have to be careful not to sand them too much because you'll create high spots. So as you look along your panel, you can see a raised spot where you've actually burnt through here and here. So you just have to be careful about that. I'm doing another coat of epoxy now to help seal off these parts that are exposed to the air, so the metal parts. Let's do it. Alright, so 4:1 mixed up in the gun. Epoxy, ready to paint. Ready to paint. so we're going to hit it with 2K primer now. Alright, so I'm happy I got the driver's door primed, I guess, with 2K primer. I'll throw some guide coat over it again and then rub it back one more time with probably 800 grit wet and dry, and block it back and just see how it came out, see if it came out alright. But yeah, look, thanks for watching, and I'll try and keep the videos coming. Sorry about this one, bit of a delay. The weather's been playing up, and it's been very hard to get out and actually do filler work or do any work, in fact, because the weather's been absolutely ridiculously hot or pouring rain. So anyway, cheers, take care, let's do it.